magical journey and explore a world of tasteful surprises where every Nespresso coffee is the perfect gift. Shop now at Nespresso.com.
This is Chewy.
Our officiating crew, Kevin Scott, Ashley Moyer-Gleish, and Derek Collins. We're underway in Minnesota. Dallas controls the tip. Randall up ahead. Edwards one-on-one with Thompson. Makes his move. That's crafty!
The Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves lead. He's been shooting mainly threes here early in the year.
Gafford powers in for two. He challenges Gobert on the interior and wins the battle.
They're struggling in those two areas 3 games into the season.
Randall, pick and roll. Gobert pump fake, slams it, and one. Chance at a three-point play for Gobert. Last season, he went 9-5 in the second half of back-to-back, one of the best records in the league. Irving works his way into the paint. It's good. And the foul.
The Wolves only gave up 46 points a game in the paint. Already this year, 56.
Pull up. It's lethal from Edwards.
Whether you're moving across town or across the country, you can count on odds to...
Off the glass.
Coming into this game, 40 of his 70 shots have been through.
Oh, big finish. Gafford rising up.
Well, we've seen it all. The things we talked about from Gafford offensively tonight. He's run, he's rolled, he's rebounded.
No hesitation from Edwards, who cans the triple. Edwards and Randall on the same page. Hot hand. Yes, sir. Edwards bangs in a triple. But Gafford runs the floor and nobody gets back to deal with him. Another jam for Daniel Gafford. 15-13 Timberwolves. Doncic off the hesitation. It's good. Minnesota has made 3 threes, 3 out of 7. Dallas has only tried 1, didn't make it. Doncic hangs, hits, and the horn. Randall gives the youngster lively. Randall, Dallas native. Kick, corner, DiVincenzo.
That's already Randall's 4th assist of the night and only 1 field goal attempt.
A 3-ball for DiVincenzo. Doncic, who drew a lot of attention. Thompson nails the 3.
That's his first shot of the night. It's with Irving and Doncic. He's going to get a lot of good looks. Those guys are great creators.
Edwards. Anthony Edwards, bullseye. Secures it.
Shooting struggles from last night.
Anthony Edwards is putting on an offensive exhibition. Can't hit the 3. Rebound deflected. Run out for DiVincenzo. Behind the back with the razzle-dazzle dribble. Edwards. Anthony Edwards is unconscious. And it in for Naz Reid. A minute 18 to play. First quarter. Marshall defending Edwards. Gobert the screen. Edwards. Oh, this is ridiculous! Anthony Edwards! 36-30. Naz Reid. Deep one.
Only 5 teams on average 15 turnovers a game. Right now, we have 10 teams.
Rattles home for Naz Reid, a downtown hit. Reid rejected. It's Lively. Up ahead, Washington running the floor. Washington takes it to the rack. One-on-one. Lively holds his ground, knocks it free, turnover. Doncic ahead. Irving lines it up. Look at a 3. 0 turnovers.
But both teams.
Doncic, one-on-one with Reid. Doncic, Baker is good, and a foul. So Dallas chips.
And they got more shooting now. They're not as long, have no effective defense. Totally against me on this.
I feel like you're beating them.
I'm not beating them.
Fake. It goes! Deep 3.
Wonder why they hide him like that.
Dad, I'm home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, it turns out Nintendo did have a curveball for us this week. A game announcement that people have been asking for quite some time, actually years now. They just sort of did it out of nowhere, shocking everyone, and we're going to go over the latest Switch announcement here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Indiana Jones as we do get previews that went live, giving us ideas to what to expect heading into December. And then Sony shed some light on their plans for Concord going forward, and it turns out it's not great news for Firewall. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps it a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members of the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below this video. And we're going to start today with Mass Effect, specifically concerns that started to pop up after the initial reveal for Dragon Age the Veilguard, showing what looked kind of like a Pixar style for the characters, and it just, yeah, I think it clashes a bit with the environments, but it was certainly noticeable the art style and direction they have with the designs around these different character models. Well, we can see this posted up. This is from the director for the Mass Effect series over at BioWare, saying, lots of people ask me about Mass Effect now that Veilguard reviews are out and October 31st is close. Both are from the studio, but Mass Effect is Mass Effect. How you bring a sci-fi RPG to life is different than other genres or IPs and has to have different kinds of love. Michael Gamble goes on to say, regarding tone questions, Mass Effect will maintain the mature tone of the original trilogy. This is all I'm going to say for now. I pressed a little bit about that Pixar look that we have right now for Veilguard. Says I'm not sure I agree with the Pixar thing, but Mass Effect is photorealistic and will be as long as I'm running it. So that should hopefully put concerns to bed around Mass Effect maybe adopting a similar look. Now this, in a sense, would be more mature and more photorealistic. So my biggest thing is, can they bounce back after what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda? Dragon Age the Veilguard is still BioWare, but it's kind of like a separate team sort of within BioWare, different director and stuff. So I think Mass Effect will stand on its own, and it's probably going to be a while. We're thinking years from now. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's out in 2027, 2028. But I'm hoping they can turn things around after what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. I guess we'll see towards the end of this current generation. Also, we did get a release date for Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. We can see this was posted up on the official account. This is from Digital Eclipse, saying, when can I play Rita's Rewind? December 10th, 2024. Save the date to save the world on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. The trailer here, by the way, looks awesome. Getting a lot of like the old school Super Nintendo vibes. If you remember, we had that. There was a beat 'em up. I feel like I played it on the Super Nintendo. I think it was on the Genesis as well. But it was an awesome time back then for just Power Rangers in general. And I think there was at least that one that translated over well to video game format. Now they're also asked about online co-op play. They do say it's going to launch with both local and online, but due to a technical snag, it's looking like they would launch with 2-player online, but the plan is to follow quickly with support for 5 players online. That is awesome. I like the way it looks. I like the resurgence we've seen for these old school retro style beat 'em ups like over the past several years now. And they also have some fun little twists in there. For example, when they went into like the Zords and went almost this first person view and stuff. See the Green Ranger there. So this is really, really cool. I'm looking forward to really towards the end of this year now in December with Indiana Jones and Power Rangers. Should be a fun way to close out the year. Oh, and for all of you Ys fans out there, we did get an official release date, which we can see. This is for Ys memoir, The Oath in Felghana. That is coming to the West January 7th, 2025. It had previously released in Japan. That was first half of 2023. It's a remaster of the PSP game from nearly 15 years ago now, and it's a situation where it takes Capcom a while to get a game from Japan and then out to the West. And in this case, it coming in January, there will be a $30 digital version, as well as what looks like a physical release bundle, so they have all kinds of extra goodies in there, that coming in at $60. They do mention things like an acrylic diorama stand, a CD soundtrack, a microfiber cloth, and more there. So really cool stuff there for Ys fans to have this game finally coming out to the West. Just want to keep out a physical copy if that's what you're looking for. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with a massive announcement from Nintendo that they just nonchalantly released on a Tuesday, just out of nowhere. Oh yeah, here, Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming to the Switch. This was posted up over on their official account. What they say, just Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, coming to Nintendo Switch on March 20th, 2025. And they also have a full trailer for it, which visually speaking, it has seen a fairly significant upgrade, I would say. Very much so reminds me of the jump, maybe not as severe because that was the Wii to the Switch, this is the Wii U to the Switch, but very similar to me what I saw with Xenoblade Chronicles when that got moved up from the Wii then to the Switch recently this generation. There's a pretty big visual leap. Still one here, and the thing that's very interesting about this is they say its visually enhanced version includes newly added story elements and more. I also saw on the page for it, on the store page, it appears they've managed to actually shrink down the file size for it, which, I mean, that is the enjoyable thing with the Switch. The nice thing about this generation is we're very used to sub 10 gigabyte file sizes, that when you see a 15 gigabyte file size for something like Chronicles X, you just go, whoa, okay, hold on a minute, that's pretty large, when really in the grand scope of things, we're used to 150 gigabyte plus games on other platforms. It's pretty impressive there. Now, this is a game that people weren't sure if Nintendo would be able to get this over to the Switch. There were a lot of tie-ins, obviously, with the Wii U gamepad, which I'm sure is just a massive hurdle for any game that's trying to make the jump from the Wii U to the Switch. Gotta figure out how you can incorporate that then into just the one screen on the Switch in handheld mode, or being used on the TV when you have it docked. And there are also some online elements to this as well, but it seems like they're going above and beyond after getting that worked out. Also adding in new story elements and stuff. So this is really, really cool. I mean, to me, it was one of the most impressive games on the Wii U from just the overall scope, the visuals, some of the ideas in it, and obviously people love kind of the Xenoblade in general with that fantasy, but then also mixed in, you have mechs and stuff here with the skells that you can fly around in, and it has more of a realistic sort of art style to it compared to some of the other Xenoblade games, but this is exciting stuff. I wasn't sure if we would actually get this over to the Switch, mostly because, yes, we are getting towards the end of the generation, and it's like, are they going to be able to get that last Xenoblade there? And they have. And in fact, if you look at the Switch now, technically this is the Xenoblade system. Like, Xenoblade fans completely won out with this generation, since now you have a system that plays all of them. I mean, if you're even curious about Xenoblade and you're trying to get into the franchise, the series, you're going to want to buy a Switch because they're all available. And that's actually very impressive just for a system in general. But then you really look over the Switch as a whole. Yes, it got a lot of the Wii U ports over, but even from past Nintendo systems, they're all there with NSO. And you start to really take a step back and look around at that landscape, and you're like, wow, the Switch is, I think it's pretty clear, it's Nintendo's best system they've ever made. But then you start to make a case for it just in general for gaming with how vast the library is. And I mentioned how nonchalantly Nintendo just sort of announced it. Just here it is on Twitter. Yep, Xenoblade Chronicles X. You guys have been asking for this non-stop for years. Yeah, you can pick it up in a couple of months to start off 2025. And it's funny because you think about, it's been a little while since we've had that Wii U port. I had to think, I was like, okay, when was the last time? And I feel like it was Bowser's Fury. So Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury. That was 2021. So by the time technically this comes out, it'll be a 3-year gap, and they just randomly show up on Twitter and hold like a very mini, incredibly mini Twitter direct. I think people were even wondering if there'd be some other announcement, which at this point it'll probably be like NSO games for NES and Super Nintendo, and that'll be the little Twitter direct they have this week. But that alone was massive, and it's extremely exciting to see. So yeah, Xenoblade fans certainly got what they were looking for here, not only with Chronicles X, but also just the Switch in general. A platform that has all of the games, actually better than visually, content-wise, the whole thing. So really, really cool stuff there. Next up, let's talk about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This game is slated to come out in the first week of December, and there's still been a lot of questions around how exactly the game is going to play, like the moment-to-moment gameplay, because from what I've seen so far, while there have been some flashes of it, it's kind of been presented as it's going to be sort of like another movie or a game heavily playing into cutscenes and the lore of Indiana Jones, almost being presented as a new movie for it, really. But we did have some hands-on previews that were published by many different outlets, and here we go over some of the information here as I pulled out some highlights, which this was actually from a 3-hour, just about 3-hour hands-on period for different outlets, and it's heavily mixed in, seemingly cinematic elements with stealth gameplay. In fact, stealth gameplay seems to be at the top of the list for all the descriptions, at least of this play session. And the stealth kills, you're going through, you're sneaking around as Indy. The stealth kills rely on you finding one-time use items in the environment. So, for example, if you find a bottle, you would use that to knock out a guard right over the head, but then that bottle breaks and you can't use it anymore. Same thing if you find a frying pan or shovels, and that's at least an interesting way to sort of go about these stealth kills or stealth gameplay, is to then have to sort of improvise and find things around you can use at that point in time. So I think it's better than having some really the same animation you would do over and over and over again to knock out guards. That adds some creativity, I'd say some interest there, just to see what exactly you can knock guards out with. Getting spotted doesn't end the mission though. You just start fist fighting, it seems. Although if you fire your gun, you're then going to let everyone around you know that yeah, you're there to take them out. But you do have your whip, and it seems like your whip can pull weapons out of enemies' hands, which that part sounds like it'd be pretty awesome to kind of like do that in motion, like see that all happen and unfold. And you can also use disguises to fool guards. But
Febreze smells first day fresh for 50 days. That's a shockingly long time. Upgrade to Febreze Plug.
Nachos and
well, I think PC Gamer described that as they were heavily pushed towards where the disguise was, I guess by the guide that was there with them, kind of pointing them in that direction, and they questioned if that would be a more frustrating avenue of like, okay, what do I do kind of thing, which you run into in games. You just kind of spin around in a circle just about on the map trying to figure out where to go. In this case, you would look for a disguise, which then lets you go through a base pretty much without anyone assuming that you're there to steal stuff, which they did eventually get to a tomb raiding sequence, but they described it as a bit linear with simple puzzles and platforming. A lot of questions around, okay, are there other tombs that maybe are a bit more intricate or wide open? But a lot of the previews did share the same sentiment around the visuals, which they were incredibly impressive, and it is very true to the source material, so fans of Indiana Jones are going to be really, really excited seeing some of the set pieces and familiar characters. I mean, to me, so far, so good with these previews. Again, about 3 hours or so, and some of it was pretty guided, and it seemed like maybe the tomb that they were raiding was an earlier one, but I think so far it at least sounds very, very interesting. And for Indiana Jones fans, you've probably already decided after seeing some of the trailers for this that you're either picking it up or, like many of us, probably downloading on Game Pass, but looking forward to checking this one out in that first week of December. Next up, let's talk about Sony and an email that was sent out by Hermen Hulst announcing that 2 studios were shut down, and it looks like Concord, well, it's exactly how we figured. It's not coming back. We can see this post up, though. This is over on Sony Interactive's website, saying, as part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE's studio business, we have had to make a difficult decision relating to 2 of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios. While mobile remains a priority growth area for the studio business, we are in the very early stage of our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have the potential to reach more players globally. With this refocused approach, Neon Koi will close, and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. That seems like the very PR business way to say their game wasn't very good, or it wasn't hitting certain milestones we had in place. They couldn't figure out the fun loop, or maybe it wasn't lining up with what they expect from mobile games, which of course we know, heavy monetization strategies. Either way, whatever Neon Koi was working on there with that action game wasn't panning out, at least in Sony's mind, and instead of, I guess, shifting focus, they decided to shut down what I believe was their first mobile studio. So Sony still seems interested in the mobile sector, but not with Neon Koi apparently in the way on this action game. They go on to say, after much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset Concord and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. So a couple of things here. One, this shouldn't be surprising to anyone. I didn't see a path forward for Concord to return, especially not with that name.
big fat knobs. Fuck measuring cups. I dumped out all of these desserts in them.
We
I'm Michael Jordan all because of this. See, when Jordan Poole knows the baddies are around, he can turn it up to the next level. He almost looks better than Steph Curry at times because he literally can't miss. And it was definitely one of the reasons he even won a championship, because he was literally pulling up from half court in the NBA Finals. So next time you see Poole dropping bombs, just know that there's a 10 sitting nearby.
Nintendo shut down their online services for the Wii U and 3DS a while ago, but they missed somebody. This is LCD 101. On April 8th, 2024, the Wii U and 3DS servers were shutting down, but LCD 101 was one of the very few players that weren't affected. The thing that separated him from the other various people who were connected to the network was the fact that he was the only person playing his game, Splatoon. Every other Splatoon player was disconnected. If you're unaware, Splatoon is an exclusively multiplayer game, meaning LCD 101 was alone, holding up the servers by himself. It seems like every passing week there's somebody who leaves the Nintendo network. One of the final few who finally disconnect for good. But not LCD 101. Not yet anyways. It's been about a month and a half since the server shut down, and he's still there. Still waiting for that day that maybe one more person will join him in a game of Splatoon. Nintendo.
You see? surprise, surprise, it was all about, January 6th.
The entire team fucking ignored me again. The entire fucking team. fucking idiots. He's on the wrong side of the goddamn fucking map again. Oh my god, I just got fucking rolled like a fucking A-ray. There's still no way shooting at the motherfucker. What? You're kidding. You're kidding. I shot him directly, man. This is why you don't just sit on the shit! You fucking morons! Give me my fucking money!
I donated myself money.
To help. I just needed a fucking spec! Gotta have that! Come on! I should block this entire fucking team too. Really fucking should. Give me my fucking money!
You know you love Putz. I know you care. Just shout whenever and Putz will be there. Putz is our love. Putz is our heart. And we'll never be apart. And we are like Putz, Putz, Putzo. Like baby, baby, Putzo.
Only need fucking painting again. Again, I was the only fucking player painting. Easily fucking predictable by the first goddamn, like, 5 seconds into a fucking match. God damn it, that didn't work. Get up the hell, please! Please, just get up and fucking help! Stop sharking, you motherfucker! Stop sharking, you motherfucker! Get up the hell! Pete! You fucking piece of shit! And he lets him get through. Oh my god. These motherfuckers are dumb. They're so fucking dumb. They're so fucking dumb. Zero fucking concept to Rainmaker, and I gotta fucking over fucking compensate for his fucking lack of fucking anything. Defense until you lose. Defense until you fucking lose. Kiss my fucking ass! Useless sack of fucking shit.
Never in my fucking life do I get so many fucking morons. I'm dumbfounded. I'm fucking flat out dumbfounded. Oh my god, they're all right here. They still won't fucking shoot the obvious. Don't hold the gap. How the fuck are all of them dead except for one, and nobody shoots the one? And why the fuck are you not jumping? He deserved to fucking die. I don't give a shit. Oh, yep. Stupid fucking teammate after stupid fucking teammate after stupid fucking teammate. I gave him fucking walls to swim. I shot at him. I backed him the fuck up. Did any fucking other player take a single fucking shot at him? Not one. Back. We're fucking painting our fucking goddamn base. Oh, we're gonna let them get fucking full control. We're gonna be on the opposite end of the fucking world. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit. I jumped twice, and twice you fucked me over.
Looking forward to more amazing guests. List your vacation.
My name is Murray Alexander. I'm the parent of a 20-year-old severely autistic boy, Stephen. Stephen was first diagnosed at 2.5 years of age, and like most parents of autistic children know, we have had our shares of ups and downs. But undeniably, the last 4 months or so have been the most difficult of his life and ours.
Stephen has been away from us for over a year now. The only reason that we're doing this is to show other people what went on in our house.
Welcome to our house. Hello, Sam. You've been a bit traumatised, buddy, haven't you? Nearly every room in the house. That's where we tried to hide at night time. But he would hit us sometimes he came up into our room.
He knows that we love him.
We wanted to come home and be like he was before.
We were married in 85. We had Tasha in 91. And then Stephen arrived in 94.
Yeah. What's Stephen up to? First 2 years were wonderful, and he was doing brilliantly well. Stephen, say cheese. He was always on the top percentile in weight and height and meeting all his milestones, pointing and
Very happy little boy. Until, of course, then he got a virus when he was about 2.
After that week where he was ill, we noticed things that he would start to walk up and down the corridor of our house, and he would just be studying and looking at fine grains in the wood. And seemed to lose all eye contact with us. Tasha? Smile. Cool. Stephen? Stephen?
Through Plunkett, it was a special education person who came straight in, assessing him.
Very nice.
When the idea was first put to us that our son may be autistic, it was devastating. But at the same time, it provided some answers as to how this rather unusual behaviour, it had a label. Stephen is a loving boy. He really is.
It's weird to say it, but I think he's very people-oriented.
Watch him.
The happy times were just every day living with him and the funny things that he would do, or the little routines that he has, and getting to understand them.
We love him. We love him to bits. When Stephen's happy, we're all happy.
Yeah, that's totally the things that gets me, is like, I just have such a problem with this whole situation.
Good boy.
It just seems so unfair to me. Because he's such a good person and he just doesn't deserve that.
So he got very ritualistic, and we had a few problems.
There's huge amounts of anxiety. His life had to be in order, and it had to be regimented, which I think helps to reduce that anxiety. I think Stephen changed. He found it more and more difficult to try and alleviate the stresses that he was feeling.
He would bang a wall, which really wasn't like Stephen. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't. Then he would start to hit his own head when he got so frustrated. And it was like him telling us that I can't handle this. By this stage, the house was a bit of a shambles, but his own safety, you know, he was just really smacking his head really hard, which was, I mean, to hell with the house, you know, he can break walls, but I was scared he was going to break his head. And then he started turning it on us.
I hate to use the word attack, but he would just come to us and grab Janine or myself and would pull on our hair and push very hard. It was horrific, because we'd always managed to cope. That last week in which we felt that Stephen and ourselves had really kind of lost the plot, we just felt that there was nothing more that we could do.
it was a night where I had actually rung the crisis team, or the mental health team, and said, you know, that he was on medication, that he had autism, and I was told, we can't help you, we don't do autism. And I didn't know what to do. We went to Waitakere Hospital. We spent 24 hours in the emergency department. Stephen was just so distraught that we were in a room and he was smacking a concrete wall. By the time the 24 hours was up, there was blood all over the concrete wall from where he'd split all his hands. It was horrible.
And we got hold of the psychologist again, and it was her recommendation that he be committed at that stage. Well, we totally resisted that. There's no way that can happen.
And we put him in a wheelchair and we took him home. I think that was the Tuesday night. On the Thursday night, he went absolutely berserk and came out here and he was just smashing the wall. There was no wall. Murray and I went outside because he was just rampaging. He was looking for us and he was gonna, you know, really look like he was gonna do some damage. He just had it enough. So then he followed us outside, and this is like 11 o'clock at night, and he is just like yelling, and he's smacking his palms on the pavers outside around the pool, you know, and anything, any sort of surface, he's like smacking. He's just so angry and just so, you know, I've never ever seen, not only Stephen, I've never seen anybody that distraught.
Pi makes everything better, even the best chicken money can buy.
In the morning, I rang the psychiatrist and I said, okay, you win. We can't do this anymore. This is it. And I just had my diagnosis the day before, of course, of breast cancer. My whole family was falling apart. Everything was falling apart. It was just a big mess. So I didn't tell Steve to start with. I packed him a bag. I wrote him a social story to say that he was going to hospital and he was going to stay there for a few days, and they were going to help make his head better. And I made him his favourite dinner, and he came out and he was eating his dinner, and I gave him a lorazepam to calm him a little bit, and then they all arrived. So it was like he was going on a little adventure. He was quite calm. Went to the bathroom, changed his clothes, brushed his teeth, and showed him his story. And then they went to take him out through the hallway, and then he just got quite agitated, so the police turned him around and put handcuffs on him and put him in the police car and took him away.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
Today,
is so fucking stupid.
There's a big secret being hid from drivers, so check this out before this video gets taken down. If you're paying any of these companies...
In the last few weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me.
This investigation regarding Mr. Jackson involves allegations of child molestation, 288A of the California Penal Code.
And I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes.
Were you ever accused of having somebody molested Grant Barnes?
The strain of the ongoing investigation is clearly taking its toll.
I'm behind my son. I don't believe any of this stuff that's being written about him.
We support our brother wholeheartedly.
The felony complaint involves 9 counts. So has the star simply buckled under pressure? Is the strain too much of seeing his accuser in court?
But in the end, he simply couldn't afford to live in a fantasy.
Breaking news for you tonight. The singer Michael Jackson is reported to have died from a heart attack.
Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine.
Intense sexual abuse. Being heard is a powerful thing. We can't control what people believe.
The information is disgusting and false.
My name is Mike Smallcombe. I'm a journalist based in the UK, and I've written a book on the career and life of Michael Jackson. Well, after Michael Jackson passed away, being a journalist, I read a few of his biographies and being interested in his life and career, and all of them were focused on his personal life. You know, here we've got probably the biggest music superstar ever, and there's not really any literature, any books out there that cover his career. So, loving research, being a journalist, and Michael Jackson being a topic I was interested in, I thought there's a real gap in the market there. Why can't I be the person who writes something like that?
I'm Mark Lester, long-time friend of Michael's. So I've known Michael since about 1978. Michael was touring with the Jacksons. He came over to the UK and his manager phoned me up and said Michael would like to meet me. So we met. When I was waiting on the other side of the door before I met him for the first time, I didn't know what to expect. I thought he was going to answer the door in a spacesuit, or he was be levitating, or just something like weird. But he wasn't. He was just a completely normal guy. We're both the same age, within a month. Michael was born in August, I was born in July, 58. Michael showed me all these magazines, pop magazines, Tiger Beat, Teen Magazine, which were big in the States. Whenever there was an article with Michael was in it, usually I would be somewhere in that magazine as well. So there was some kind of association with that Michael picked up on.
My name's Lucy Lester and Michael is my godfather. I was 12 when I first met him. He flew us over to Las Vegas and that's where we had the naming ceremony. I never grew up listening to his music or anything, so to me it wasn't Michael, like the pop star. It was just Michael, my dad's best friend.
My name's Matt Fidesz. I was Michael Jackson's friend and bodyguard for a number of years. People have to understand I wasn't with him 24 hours a day. I think when people try and say, "Oh, you're close to him," or "Are you friends with him?" This guy's the biggest superstar on earth.
When Michael was on stage, he owned it. It was an incredible transformation.
on stage at the age of 5. It's all he ever knew. He was in the Jackson 5, of course, and tremendously successful, and it led him to be one of the richest people in entertainment ever, and to be adored by millions of fans around the world. So that's a great, great privilege. Of course, we know the flip side to that with Michael Jackson and the burden of that.
I always likened him to being sort of a member of the royal family. He was born into it. He didn't know any different. So his perception of the world was completely different from my reality or reality.
He would say it was the greatest thing that happened to him, but then also he would like to have been given a choice to be a superstar, because he can't remember not being Michael Jackson, the famous guy who couldn't go anywhere.
There's one story in particular that he would say, and he was recording with Motown, and he was in the studio with his brothers, and he could hear children playing in the playground opposite. And he just wished that he could just go over there and, you know, be himself, be a child. But he couldn't because he was recording. And there was a time when brothers were due to go to South America to tour. And in the car on the way to the airport, he was just crying because he didn't want to go. He just wanted to stay and be a child, play. But he couldn't do that. And that had a massive impact on him as an adult. Obviously, this obsession with childhood, building Neverland Ranch, wanting to be with children, always trying to compensate for that childhood that he never had.
I think the way to describe it, he was the biggest media manipulator there is in the world, where he could control the media in certain ways, and at the same time it would backfire on occasions, and no one wanted to tell him that it's the wrong thing to do, you know, it's made it the wrong way from the public point of view.
He told me he was an illusionist, so if he wanted to create a stir with the press, all he had to do was go out of the hotel in a wheelchair, and then all of a sudden the whole of the world's press was, oh, Michael Jackson in a wheelchair. And then he'd just get out the wheelchair and get in the car. One of his favourites was surgical mask. He'd walk around with it and they were like, what's going on here? You know, why is he wearing a surgical mask? It was for illusion. So he knew kind of a little bit how to play and to toy with the press, but in other ways he was incredibly naive.
Weird stories about Michael Jackson's soul. The fact that Michael was a bit eccentric helped that. So this mystery persona, I mean, wow, you know, he sleeps in an oxygen chamber. He lives on a theme park. His skin colour's changed. You name it.
Sadly, it kind of came round and it bit him on the backside a bit.
Unfortunately, it was partly Michael's fault, the mysterious aspect of his life, the weird stuff coming out in the 80s. That was slightly his fault with his PR campaign. But that was quite innocent stuff, really. The chamber, Bubbles the monkey, Elephant Man Bones. It just got really, really vicious and negative and totally backfired, unfortunately. The team around Michael stopped having his best interests at heart in 1995. So from 97 to 2009, Michael had, writing my book, I had to get my head around this. 10 different managers, different accountants, different lawyers. It was a mess, complete and utter mess. Partly Michael's fault, but they have a duty representing him to have his best interests at heart, and they didn't have their own interests at heart. In '93, the civil lawsuit filed by the Jordan Chandler family and the police report, that was simultaneous. Once Michael Jackson had settled that civil lawsuit, the reasons being not because he wanted to hush the Chandler family, the reasons are actually quite incredible.
I can't speak for Michael, but I know one thing. Michael is not guilty. I've talked to him before, and I think he'll be fine because he had nothing to be shamed up.
He's strong.
So he's very strong. He'll just come out.
A judge ruled that the civil lawsuit would be heard first because it was a minor. I think he ruled that, okay, we're going to have to hear this within 120 days from this day. Michael's lawyers were like, hey, we want the criminal trial first because the civil lawsuit, that could really prejudice the criminal trial. Why? Because if we have a court hearing between the Chandlers and Michael's defense in a civil lawsuit, the Chandlers and their attorneys will know what Michael's defense is going to be. That's massively prejudicial for any criminal trial. You wouldn't get a fair criminal trial because you've had this civil thing going on before. The important one was the criminal one because you could end up in jail. The civil one is just about money. But if you're hearing the civil one first, then that could help get you in jail. Michael's team was like, the only option we've got, because the judge ruled the civil one is going to be heard first, is to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You have to settle. That made Michael look guilty. What is he hiding? Why is he paying off his family?
If this really went on, do you think a father would accept money, that would make it okay, that would make everything all right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I know that if that were my son, I'm sorry. I don't care if you gave me $1 billion. I want to see you either behind bars or dead for the rest of your life for doing that to my son or my daughter. It's crazy. The guy was after money is what he wanted.
I totally disagreed with him doing that. He should not have given him anything. But if there had been any criminal activity, you can't pay off the cops or the legal system. They will go after you because they want to. You can't just say, "Here, I'll pay the fine," because it doesn't work like that. Because if they had pursued it through the criminal courts, they didn't.
We have concluded that because the young boy who was the catalyst for this investigation has recently informed us that he does not wish to participate in any criminal proceeding where he is named as a victim, that we must decline prosecution involving Mr. Jackson.
People don't know the ins and outs of why he was forced to make that settlement. He didn't want to, he wanted to fight them both. So that was 93 gone.
I think he got over that quite quickly and just pushed that one aside. The second time with the Arvizo case, now that was around 2003. At that time I'd seen quite a lot of Michael and going backwards and forwards to the States, spending a lot of time at Neverland, and I was at Neverland for a great deal of the time when the Arvizo family were there, and they were awful.
When we heard that police were at Neverland, me and Mark spoke and we knew exactly, we were talking Gavin, Arvizo and this family, and that before we'd been told, or the media had even announced it, we knew because they were just causing havoc.
Basically, the boy was recovering from cancer, and Michael had said to him in the hospital that if you ever want to come to Neverland, be my guest, come. And of course, the mother had overheard this, and I was like, yeah, we're going. Okay, so they turn up at Neverland, and it was just initially the boy and his mum. They were made to feel very welcome and put up in one of the guest lodges. But they stayed for like 3 months, and then all of a sudden all these cousins appeared, and at one time there was like 15 of these like kids, and they were running riot around Neverland.
Anyone could clearly see that they were taking advantage of Michael because he had such a big heart and he wanted people to come to Neverland. He wanted them to have this amazing experience, and I think it's quite sad that people must portray that as if you're being kind, you must be preying on people. There must be something sinister behind it, when all he wanted to do was just make people happy.
They were just like hooligans, and then it came to a time when they were asked to leave. The next day, is when I think the mother turned really nasty and then made all these allegations about Michael.
Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend some time at Neverland. Neverland is my home. I allowed this family into my home because they told me their son was ill with cancer and needed my help. Through the years, I have helped thousands of children who are ill or in distress. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me. I never intend to place myself in so vulnerable a position ever again.
The service of the warrants was part of an ongoing investigation alleging criminal misconduct on the part of Michael Jackson. The basis for this investigation regarding Mr. Jackson involves allegations of child molestation, 288A of the California Penal Code. Additionally, an arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued on multiple counts of child molestation. The bail amount on the warrant has been set at $3 million. At this point in time, Mr. Jackson's been given an opportunity to surrender himself to the custody of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department within a specified period of time. We are currently working with Mr. Jackson's legal representation on this matter.
Sham of a trial, again about money, because Arvizo's mum first went to a civil lawyer to try and get a settlement of some sort. The civil lawyer said, you need a conviction first. And that's the only reason why there was a criminal trial first.
This case is about one thing only. It's about the dignity, the integrity, the decency, the honor, the charity, the innocence, and the complete vindication of a wonderful human being named Michael Jackson.
I would like to thank the fans around the world. I would like to thank the fans around the world for your love, your support from every corner of the earth. My family has been very supportive. My brother Randy, who's been incredible. I want to thank the community of Santa Maria. I want you to know that I love the community of Santa Maria very much. It's my community. I love the people. I will always love the people. My children were born in this community. My home is in this community. I will always love this community from the bottom of my heart. That's why I moved here. Thank you very much.
The first thing wasn't going to the police saying this is what happened. The first step was civil lawyer, money.
But the media wanted that crash, bang. You know, the guy who's come from nothing, and then you see him in the handcuffs. The money would have been if he was found guilty for the media. That would have been there. And the media outside was just unbelievable. You've never seen anything like it.
In America, the coverage of the trial was abhorrent. Certain things would be said in court, and then a completely different thing would be reported in the media. Just no wonder that, you know, non-fans, members of the public were outraged that Michael Jackson was found not guilty, because they'd read this coverage of Michael for 5 months, thinking that this was the coverage in the court when it wasn't.
The recent publicity about these settlements is unfair and damaging to him, his family, and his dedication to the world's children. The charges he faces are false and would be battled in a court of law within our justice system. He is innocent and will be vindicated.
It was a disgrace. The media was parading around this narrative that Michael Jackson was guilty. How can a jury find him not guilty given what's happened in that courtroom? But that wasn't the case. In fact, what was heard in the courtroom was highly in Michael's favour. After the prosecution case was put forward, the defence were thinking, are we even going to bother here? Because the jury was ready to declare Michael Jackson not guilty after the prosecution case. But the defence decided, you know, we're going to hammer the nail in the coffin of all of this.
The only people that really mattered were 12 jurors and 1 judge, 13 people. The rest were just extraneous as far as we were concerned. You had to drown out the media. They were just a distraction. They had their own agenda, which was ratings and revenue, not justice. And you had to just focus on the evidence, focus on the courtroom, and stay away from them.
I think Michael is one of those rare clients where lawyers really don't have to prep a lot. You don't even have to coach him in terms of how he should behave in the courtroom. He was just so well behaved naturally without even having to tell him to do anything other than just be himself.
How he survived 2 years where you're possibly going to live the rest of your life behind bars, I don't know. I would have taken a gun and shot myself. But he was very strong, and he was someone who knew he had done nothing wrong, and he just believed in his conviction, so I handed it to him. But it was tough.
The image and persona that the tabloid press saw of Michael was not the man, not the true Michael Jackson. And I think because he was different, he didn't conform to the norm, people didn't like that. There was this kind of witch hunt about getting this man because he just didn't conform to how they wanted him to.
In the UK, there seemed to be this top-down agreement since the late 80s that Michael Jackson was to be smeared. Reporters would be told, all we're going to report on is negative Michael Jackson stories because it sells papers. So the Red Tops, they all agreed on that. You still see that today. So that's a 30-year thing in the UK. Wacko Jacko, all the newspapers. And now again, 2 accusers, 2013, going to a civil lawyer and saying, I want to sue Michael Jackson's estate.
Yeah, you know, there's been different times where it just be me and Michael. Then there'll be other times where he has other friends over too. That's what, like what Brett said, it's just a slumber party. We just have a lot of fun.
We just have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Intense sexual abuse. So yeah, that had to be clear.
If I can just say, you know, for decades, Jackson put up this smokescreen, which was reinforced by, you know, his family and the media as well.
The allegations were nothing new. Obviously, I didn't know there was going to be a film. I knew about the allegations because Wade Robson and James Safechuck sued the Michael Jackson estate all the way back in 2013. So this is something that's very much under the radar, rumbled on and on. How that all started, Wade Robson tried to get a job with the Michael Jackson estate, being the lead choreographer on the Cirque du Soleil show.
I'm starting on Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show. So it's, you know, the equivalent of the Beatles Love show that they have, or the Elvis show, but for Michael.
Didn't get the job. Was at a crossroads in his career, lacking finances, not really knowing where to turn. He was desperate to get this job. Been praising Michael ever since Michael died. Went to his memorial service at Staples Center, saying in interviews how Michael was this great friend of his.
Michael was such a huge part of my career and life. We were friends for 20 years before he passed, since I was 7. So it's an opportunity for me to give back a little bit to his legacy. It's such a big part of his legacy, and to make sure as much as I can that it's done right, and that it really represents his essence.
Didn't get the job. Didn't know what to do, was having this sort of breakdown. And he started to write a book about Michael and tried to shop that book around. And in it claimed that Michael Jackson had abused him. No one would have it. So that was when Wade Robson went to a civil lawyer and looked at his options and eventually filed a creditor's claim against the Michael Jackson estate. It was initially $1.5 billion. I don't have an intrinsic knowledge of the ins and outs of how much it eventually was, but it's hundreds of millions of dollars. He actually filed that lawsuit initially under seal. So if you file something under seal, it doesn't become public record. He was hoping that the estate would go, oh, here's X amount of money, let's keep this quiet, here's your money, go away. The estate was like, no chance, we're going to fight this. That's when it became public. I'll go back to James Safechuck. He was watching Wade Robson. This was May 2013, watching Wade Robson on TV, one of the TV shows in America, where Wade Robson says, you know, I was abused and all this stuff happened to me. And James Safechuck said in his sworn declaration, that was what triggered something in his mind, made him realise, oh, I've been abused by Michael Jackson too. There have been so many inconsistencies in terms of when they knew about this alleged abuse. Wade Robson is saying that in 2005, I testified in Michael's defence because I saw his children. Michael was a friend. I didn't want him to go to jail. That's why I did it. And yet then he's saying that he only realised that he was abused in 2012-13, so you got that inconsistency. It's the same with Safechuck. 2005, claiming that he was asked to testify in Michael Jackson's trial, which is not true. Earlier on in the trial, a judge ruled that any evidence as per James Safechuck would not be admitted, would not be allowed in the trial. Yet in the documentary we see Safechuck saying that Michael called me, Michael's lawyers called me, I refused to testify. He's saying that he knew about the abuse in 2005. Michael's a bad man, I'm not going to testify. And then he says that the Wade Robson TV show is what triggered him into realising that he was abused. So you've got them saying, okay, we suddenly realised in 2012-13, but hey, we knew in 2005, because Wade Robson, I was protecting Michael Safechuck. I wasn't going to testify because he's a bad man. That's when James Safechuck filed a copycat lawsuit. So from 2013 until 2017, you've got this ongoing litigation with the estate. Eventually a judge threw out the lawsuit because of a thing called statute of limitations. They just basically filed it too late. A year later, you've got the documentary announcement being made.
I watched it and I was saddened by the show. You know, victims of child abuse is a very, very serious matter. But it didn't really push anything about the child abuse thing. I don't know. I watched it and all it was like watching a court case where you heard the prosecution and no defense. It was so totally unbalanced, and I don't know. It made me feel sick.
That was for them the obvious route. Let's make this thing public. Let's make this a worldwide issue. Can this help our appeal, which isn't mentioned in the documentary, against the decision by a judge to throw out the case?
It's like I don't feel like they want justice. If that was me, that would be above anything. That is what I would want. I wouldn't want to be going, in front of a camera, talking about my experience to people that don't know me. The first thing I would do is go to the police. I wouldn't be thinking like how, let's turn this into a book. Let's go and sue the family, because who does that?
I couldn't speak the truth any earlier than I did. I wish I could have. I wish I was emotionally and mentally capable earlier than I was.
I think being heard is, probably one of the number one wants of a victim. But, also
Hey there, John. Switch to a design has just been late.
Did you know that the tallest player in high school history was too small for the NBA?
What?
At just 12 years old, Robert was already taller than Porzingis, who stands at 7 feet 2 inches, and he kept growing until his height reached an incredible 7 feet 7 inches.
Oh my God! Is this too? Ice Show speed has been beat. Heart disease is that nobody actually expected this from him. Look at those faces.
I will.
Today I learned that there's a
can't make sense of why some things go viral, but we can make zero sugar make sense.
Colgate Total Plaque Pro Release dissolves and lifts away plaque for 2 times less gum-harming plaque. So you're dentist ready.
Greetings to everyone out there, and welcome back to Around the Clock. Alright everybody, this year in particular, Nintendo has been issuing out a bunch of warnings, but this one specifically that we're going to talk about in this video has to be the most serious and cautious warning that we've gotten all year. And it involves scammers contacting fans with fraudulent...
stand strong for Ohio families and a